Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, big night for us tonight. The guys had to dig deep there at the end, and when Jovan gets a red card, and we have to shift the formation and everything. So, but I think to get to that point, just keep some water for me somewhere, maybe, please, if you don't mind. I think to get to that point, as a group, we had to commit to exactly what we wanted to do against a really talented Atlanta team that, has some real weapons and danger and threats in all areas of the field, and to limit them and mitigate them the way we did. For sure, they got some chances late on. But yeah, we managed to stay disciplined, aggressive, and we kind of made the game what we wanted it to be. We put it in a scrap when we needed to, and we made it pretty when we needed to. So, I really enjoyed the performance tonight, and really proud of the guys.
Then we've talked Thursday, and we've talked a few times about Quinn Sullivan wanting to increase his attacking contributions, and tonight he delivers his first goal with an instinctive play in particular. I don't know, that scrap was going on there. How important was that for you and for him?
Yeah, I think it's massive, right? I think it's just about getting the guys and listen. That's an instinct around the goal, picking up the space. But like I said, it was a scrap before that moment. We dug deep. There were second balls. There was duels. There was battles, and we were able to stay on top of it and squeeze the game. And then unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, we pick up that second ball, and where they were dangerous as well, top of the box with some shots from range, we were able to find our moment and capitalize on that. So really happy for Quinny. There's been a lot of pressure building on him, trying to perform, and in terms of stepping up to the standard, and he's done that. And I've told him the whole week, just do you. You continue to be you, and you'll be just fine. So I'm happy he could cap it off today with a goal.
Danley's outing overall tonight, not just the goal, but the contributions after the red card and so on. How do you assess all of that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we put a big emphasis on our sixes and our shape today, because sometimes they play through their sixes and in behind our strikers, the way we set up. So, we had to tell our sixes to be ultra aggressive on the jump. And I think you can see by the amount of turnovers that we forced that it was a real collective effort, like really inviting them into play and setting the traps and jumping and pouncing. And then when we go to the red card, we changed this formation. We thought they're going to start being a wide threat, and we decided to go 5 at the back and make sure we're ultra aggressive in the wide areas. And then, Indy gave as much as it could, Quinny gave as much as it could, and then we get fresh legs in there with Ali and Rafa, and it was amazing, And then, I'm happy that Ty gets his goal as well. It just shows that, we set the platform, we got it to a moment in the game and to get him on, and Ty just did everything for a teammate, and it just shows that's a great teammate that we have in Ty,
That third goal, Indy makes the instinctive read on the cue to force the turnover. How do you approach players to, I guess, toe that line of being aggressive, but also not too aggressive while playing with 10 men?
It's our instinctive nature and the way we coach that even when we play 10v10, we overload guys 9v9 plus 3. We have 12 versus 9 when the other team's in possession. So, I mean, there's just different scenarios we come up with. And the way we play, our orientation is always the ball. And if we shift and connect in numbers, now we make an even game. So, the furthest guy away from the field is the least dangerous guy. So, we want our guys to still be brave and active, even though we're a man down, and it showed. It's a little bit in the first half, we told the guys at halftime I think we had 8 moments where we won the ball in transition and we gave it away straight away. So, the ability to connect in transition is massive, and the way we scored Danley's goal as well, connecting in transition, 2-3 passes, and now we make a big play and score the second goal. So, credit to the group. I'm really proud of them.
Mikel didn't score tonight. There were a lot of actions around the box with him. What did you see from him overall?
Like I said, the first 45 minutes we set the platform for the rest of the game. And he held up the play. He brought others into the game. He was a goal threat. 3 big actions in the first half. One hits the crossbar with his left foot. So 3 big actions, and he could have contributed with a goal as well. So I'm really happy. And like I say, we have to believe in each other, whether we start, whether we don't start. And it's my job to keep the harmony within the group, because obviously there's expectations to start and games and this and that. So but when we can against talented teams, that I think you could see that's on display tonight. If you take time and space away and commit to each other, I think that's what the result can be like.
Deciding not to start Ty, was there any reason particular?
Yeah, I think the first half showed that, right? If you're leading the way you lead and then you commit to the way we commit and, create the chances we did, the turnovers we did, I think it was the decision, and he gets his goal regardless. I said to Ty after the game, you got your goal, and that's important, right? A striker wants a goal, and we have 3 very good strikers and 2 positions usually to compete for the way we play. So, we wanted to be a little bit more intentional with our balls behind, with directions, more verticality to put them under, and I think the stats show that. We put them in a scrappy game. We gave them the ball there. The way they set up was to give us the ball. I think we gave it straight back to them. So, and created turnover after turnover. So I'm happy with the way the game flow went, and I'm happy with the decision.
What went into the choice of Nate at center back, and how well do you think him and Kai dealt with the threat of Almiron?
One is the pace of Latte Lat on behind, you know what I mean? So that's a big thing. We still want our guys to be aggressive, and Miranchuk picks up space between the lines. So, as a center back, you have to think to defend forwards. You have to think for balls behind. So reading the play in front of those guys, who with the ball carriers, how much space do they have? How much time do they have? Can they play the long ball? Are they playing the short one? And Nate just on the back line, aerial ability, set piece quality, and we're looking for a spark, and in every player there was a spark, there was an edge, there was something there from the beginning of the game, which sort of validated the decision about the staff and myself to go with what we did tonight.
Does his athleticism give Kai maybe a little bit more license to make sure that he's cutting down the surface coming in from Lennon?
Yeah, listen, I think when Makanya comes in, you can see his athleticism as well. So, I think, again, we're just looking for a spark, and we're looking for a moment, and I didn't think twice about, not putting Makanya in, because he was ultra aggressive. He didn't lose a ball tonight. He won every duel. He shifted on the back line when he needed to, and he was brave to step when he needed to. So, I think it's a good all-round team performance tonight.
Bradley, I got 2 questions.
Bradley, the 3 goals tonight may get the headlines. I know you've spoken about it multiple times already tonight about the second balls won, the duels won in the midfield. But how important is that clean sheet? You mentioned Yerban getting that red card, but still keeping your guys' composure and keeping Atlanta off the board.
Yeah, and it's massive because you're never going to be able to shut out a team like Atlanta, right? The chances that, they created, and I think when it's 11s v 11s, I think we nullified and mitigated exactly what we were trying to do, and the game plan really worked in the way according to how it unfolded. When they go a man up, they're going to start creating an overload here and there, and then you need people to make big plays, and I think blocking crosses from Lennon, stopping supply, of which we couldn't do the whole night, and then it's duels in the box and winning your header, and if you don't, then you need a goalkeeper. So you need a lot of things and a lot of commitment to fall into place for you to keep that clean sheet, and everyone dug real deep tonight.
You talk about the commitment. Defensively, thoughts of Glasses, Landmark, and Latte Lat match. What did you think on that?
I think it becomes tricky when you get a yellow card, right? So then you have to mitigate and manage the yellow card. You can't be as aggressive as you want to. So, I thought the back line and Jacob did exceptionally well when they had to be aggressive, and when they had to track back, and when we had to double down and create a 2 versus 1 to protect a little bit, knowing Jacob is on a yellow. So I think the collective effort is the headline for me tonight.
Bradley, question for you. You didn't go with your most productive player in your starting lineup. You kind of had Ty Brebo coming off the bench. What was it led into? Was it the competition through the week? Was it to keep Atlanta off their game of trying to lock down just Ty Brebo and just see who would answer the call as far as you?
I think I answered the question 5 questions ago. I think in terms of our verticality, the way we want to play direct, the way we're dueling for second balls, the way we're trying to put them under pressure, and the way exactly how the first half unfolded is exactly what we needed and what we wanted. That we then create space for Ty when it's a tired back line. Unfortunately, we were a man down, so guys had to dig deep. The plan was to get him into time and space. He created that anyway. Quinny created that anyway. So we were able to connect through pressure, even a man down, and we were able to show, connecting 2-3 passes helps us even a man down, and then just a willingness to end off with final plays. And I think there's a lot of fitting pieces that have to work exactly for things to unfold to score a goal when you're a man down. So credit to Quinny, credit to Ty for the timing of the runs in the box, and against a tired back line maybe.
So, Coach, could you just talk about the way how your team was able to keep your composure after the red card happened, and What was different tonight compared to the last 3 matches where you guys were finally able to break through?
Yeah, I don't think anything. I don't feel we've played bad over the last 3 games. I think it's just unfortunate we've played very, very good opposition, and we fall short against Miami and last week. So, that's just the soccer game, right? At the end of the day, there's 22 guys dueling it out, competing, and if you don't get on top of it, don't score a goal, unfortunately, you can't win the game. So, we put ourselves in a window to win the game tonight, and we took our chances. And, I just think there was an edge there. We've played with an edge the last couple of games, and unfortunately we couldn't just tighten the screw and get the result. But I've been really happy with the boys. It's not a soccer game. Just because you lose a game or tie a game doesn't mean it was a poor game. So we've seen growth in all our games so far.
I realize it's a bit nitpicky, but any concerns about Bruno Damiani's lack of goals in a while and perhaps lack of shots overall?
No, not particularly. I mean, he does so much work, in and around our build-up play, holding up the ball, fighting, creating our transitions for us. A lot of our transitions are forced by him, just putting center backs under pressure, or our 2 strikers putting them under pressure. So we try and make the play predictable, and I think those 2 did an exceptional job tonight, making play predictable for our 10s to on the triggers to jump and squeeze and press. So next week's another story. There's another game plan to unfold and play, but right now we're going to enjoy this Easter weekend.